Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with a review of the Prime Wars trilogy, Combiner Wars, Decepticon Blast Off, and Megatronus. So, the reason for the extra title involved is the fact that these figures are part of a special set of Amazon exclusives that there are going to be 3 of, representing each aspect of the Prime Wars trilogy and coming with a translucent colored Prime Master. So the first one in the series is Blast Off, representing Combiner Wars, coming with a red clear plastic Megatronus. So let's get into the box before I actually get into the figures. So as you can see what I'm talking about a little bit more with the specialness. This is the packaging that Blast Off and Megatronus come in. There is a nice piece of vehicle artwork on the box for Blast Off. It says Decepticon Blast Off, ages 8 up, Hasbro, little Cybertron or its moon there, the Prime logos on the background, even though this is a Combiner Wars figure, as it says on the side right there, Transformers Combiner Wars Prime Wars Trilogy. Number 1, there's Blast Off's robot mode with his teammates. Whoopsies. His teammates Vortex and Swindle hanging out up there. You got Transformers Generations on the side, and then you open the door and you see the packaging where they were packaged in, but I already took them out, so you can't see that. Combiner Wars, Courage is Stronger when combined. Combiner Wars, teams of Autobots and Decepticons combined to form giant super robots called Combiners and battle with the fate of the universe in the balance. And you can read that in multiple languages with some artwork of Superion in the background there. Very neat, very nice. On the side, you got this is still tied to Power of the Primes because it is coming with a Prime Master. So you get the Choose Your Prime on the side, their logos there. Back of the box, you got Megatronus Dark Warrior, Blast Off stock photography, his bio up there. It's become Blast Off warnings and things, text and product codes at the bottom. And that's it for the box. One thing I will say about the box, this does not stay shut at all. This always is sticking out a little bit, so it's not. I wish there was a way that it's secured down, but you will be seeing this box again because, as you can see by the knee and the claw there will be This is a combining piece of artwork with with the other 2 box sets, one representing Titan's Return and one representing Power of the Primes proper. So you'll be seeing this box again in the future. But getting into the figures themselves, let's just start very simply with Megatronus himself. As you can see, he is a Prime Master, standard shape, standard proportions. He's got the red plastic on the back with the Megatronus logo. I have not actually reviewed the Megatronus Prime Master, the regular retail Megatronus Prime Master yet, even though I do have him. So here he is next to the one that comes with Blast Off. The retail one feels much more like, oh, this is the one that was hanging around with the 13 before he went evil, and this is the one that is the fallen and servant of Unicron and all of that, especially with how the colors are. Yeah, they are the same thing, just different paints. Megatronus's are darker grays and blacks. This one, the one with Blast Off, the regular retail one is just regular gray and lighter gray color, and then they have the same logo on the back. It actually has the same paint colors, though there's black and the translucent red there, and that's Megatronus. Thing that's going to concern me certainly on this figure is that pin that is going through clear plastic, which makes me feel like that may not be completely strong, because clear plastic is a bit weaker than regular plastics. So that's slightly concerning for me, but I haven't heard any problems. But it's just like, that's slightly concerning. But getting into articulation, his head can rotate a full 360 degrees. The arms are able to bend that far up. Also, the arms are also clear plastic, just with paint on the outside. So Megatronus here has glowing fists. Nothing else at the arms. Legs bend that far forward, bend that far back. Knees bend that far back. and that far forward. And to transform, you just collapse him in half, and there he is in his prime, in his core mode, his spark mode, his whatever mode. I do forget what they are calling that. No direct interaction with Blast Off, as he is a Combiner Wars figure, and the Titan's Return. The Titan Masters and/or Prime Masters were not compatible at this time, so he just comes in the box, and he is neat. He is very nice and very neat, to say the least. But that's all to say on Megatronus. So actually, I'll just move him off to the side, and he may not come back for the rest of the review, except for the size comparison. But getting into Blast Off here, this is a mold that has been seen before, just never in the U.S. market. This Blast Off is, if you don't know, Blast Off is one of the Combaticons, who are one of the Combiner teams who were released in Combiner Wars. There was a Blast Off released in the US, however, that one turned into a fighter jet, and was a redeco of Quickslinger, who was a retool of Firefly. Yes. So there was no space shuttle in the US, but Japan decided, you know what, we're going to make a new mold. We're going to make Blast Off a space shuttle. So this is not one-to-one the way they did. Have the Japanese one originally transformed a bit differently, so as this bit would become the chest right here instead of this bit down here, but this way it's more accurate to the toy. I don't know why the Takara decided to do this bit as the actual chest, but you can move pieces around to recreate that look if you want. That's exactly what they did for this toy. They moved pieces around to make that transformation toy accuracy work, and also gave it a much more toy accurate color scheme, which I definitely do appreciate over the colors that are on the Japanese one. It feels too bright for Blast Off, especially as he's a brown space shuttle. But hey, that's how it is. There was also a reco of it in for Ruination, or Baldigus, I think is the Japanese name for that. That was also released. That had the transformation scheme that we are seeing on this toy, but that's beside the point. So getting into Blast Off in his vehicle mode, he does turn into a space shuttle, and our space shuttle's on the Cybertron this flat because this is a very, very flat and very angular space shuttle. The nose cone section is quite nice, though I will say I'm a little annoyed that this doesn't feel like this slides. This section does like a slide up, has a special way of transforming, but as you can see, it doesn't like completely sit flush, and there's no way to tab it into place. So it's not loose, but it's looser than it could have been to help make that, just to make that be there or secure. You've got nice paint at you got the black nose cone bit. Got some paint on the windows, though it looks like there could have been a little paint to break up the windows as it was intended to be by the molding there. But that's fine. You got a little bit of black there. You got one Decepticon symbol right there with no border. The rest of the shuttle's brown. It's just nice detailing. Black wings with purple and silver stripes, and another Decepticon symbol. Another Decepticon symbol there. Then you got the tail fin with the black, and another Decepticon symbol there, and another Decepticon symbol there. So that is 5 insignias on this shuttle mode by itself, which is crazy. You come back here, you got the jet thrusters, which are painted in black, and then to the sides are smaller jet thrusters, or shuttle thrusters, I should say. But these are clearly arms just hanging off the sides because of how the combiner transformation has to work. The arms weren't able from what I can tell from how this transforms and how this interacts, that these arms had to stick out to the sides a bit for best interactivity with the combining gimmick, which is a tad unfortunate because, I mean, this is not a one-to-one to a space shuttle, as it's got 4 jet thrusters and is very flat shape as opposed to most shuttles I am familiar with. But it's certainly not the cleanest, I will say. Like, it still looks completely fine. It still looks great. But, I mean, it'd been better if they would have been able to do it in a way that the arms aren't sticking out the side. But that is just a minor complaint. I'm just saying that it is there. Also, just because of the shape needed for the robot mode, the space shuttle does have a waistline. It does have has that waist going on there. just another comment. You also got some nice detailing on the other side of these wings that are all in black. Yeah. Overall, pretty nice shuttle mode. He does not have wheels though. He does have 2 molded wheels, one there, and one there. And you can take his gun, which I'll show off in other places in a moment. You can put it in that 5mm post right there and stick it in. And that will become his 3rd landing gear. So he's got 3 wheels that he can sit on. However, while that's there just for the aestheticness of having 3 wheels on the ground, this bit that is sticking out of what will be Blast Off's chest does the job fine. This is not actually helping you support her and make it stand up anyway, because this right here does the job that this would be supposedly doing. So if you don't want the weapon stored underneath there, which is the recommended storage for the instructions, but hey, you don't need to listen to instructions. There are a ton of 5mm ports on him. You got one right there. These are 2 separate ones back here on each side, on the back of each arm. You have one underneath there, one underneath there, as well as ones here on his chest, which will be weirder when you see it in the robot mode. I'm just going to say, because they are still accessible. The only confusion to these 4 ports here is that that there are stands that you can get from other companies to use as flight stands for some figures, or just have air poses for some certain figures. I don't have any of those, so that's why I haven't talked about them. But I'm bringing that up because these ports, especially with how flat the shuttle is, could only be really used if you have one of those stands, but there's nowhere for it to be used for vehicle mode. It's accessible in robot mode, just not vehicle mode. So that's just a little bit of confusion to me for these posts. Well, I'm just saying the posts can't be used in vehicle mode. You can use them in robot mode, and the wing ones on the sides will be on the sides of the leg, so you can store things there. But the ones on the chest are just still weird to me. I don't know. I just want to bring that up because I find that weird. There are 4 other posts on this vehicle mode because every single of these jet engines, these are all 5mm post compatible. So you can have the gun just sticking out of one of the thrusters because you can. So why not, right? But yeah, that's his main blaster, and he also comes with Combiner Wars hand-foot gun piece, this is the configuration for it. It's very nice. Partly molded in gray plastic, but the top bit is painted silver, which is very nice, but also very different from all of the other Combiner Wars figures. So I will probably be putting this off to the side when I have Blast Off combined with the other Combaticons for Bruticus, but you can stick that on top as well. And pretty much any of these other points. Oh, wait a minute. Will this work? Will this balance? Nope, that's not going to balance. The Alpha Bravo Vortex mold does a similar thing. Like you can put it at the bottom. It's like a flight stand, but because it's not in the middle, you can't use that. So that's why I thought, oh, that's why but it doesn't work like that. So sorry to disappoint about that. But yeah, this seems like it'll, as long as there's clearance for all of the stuff around it, you can stick this in all the other posts. You can't really stick that there. Just there's not enough clearance because the wings were in that one. But these ones probably will certainly work fine. And there's a lot of places to store this silly contraption. But yeah, that's all there is to say about Blast Off. It's vehicle mode. So let's get into some size comparisons, and I'll just bring Megatronus back for that. So here he is with Legends Class Bumblebee from Titan's Return. See how that scales. Deluxe Class Chrome Dome. Blast Off's a bit longer. Voyager Class Megatron. Actually not too much longer than Blast Off. Leader Mega Class 6 shot. Certainly longer than Blast Off. And for fun, let us bring in Blast Off's Combaticon buddies. Onslaught, Brawl, Vortex, Swindle. Is everyone in shot? Yes, everyone's in shot. As well as Shockwave, their weapon. And then a quick comparison with the Combiner Wars Blast Off. That was the jet. And you can see that. Now to get everyone back out of frame. Not you, Blast Off. You stay. You are the Blast Off that stays. And now let us get into transformation for Blast Off, because in this we are going to go through the 4 different configurations he can have, which is vehicle. Then we're going to go to leg, then arm, and then robot mode. So to get Blast Off into leg mode, first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the wings and fold them in like so. Fold them in like so. Then we're going to take the jet thrusters and they're just going to fold down. There's a double hinge here, so you'll just fold them down and then fold them down again and just have them sit flush like so, right there. Sitting like that. Then we're going to come up here. We're going to untab this section right here. These pieces don't stay together when they're not tabbed, so this is going to be a little loose, but there are tabs there and there that go in slots there and there, so you know. So you'll spread that out, and then we'll straighten this down like so. We'll take Blast Off's head here, actually. Yeah, we'll take Blast Off's head, fold that in there like so. We'll grab the combiner port, the combiner post. See if I can get Blast Off's head in there. Nope, it does not go any further than that. And I just pulled it off the friction hinge, which I did not realize was a thing I can do. So you're learning things as well as I am, folks. Okay. Come on. Let's see if, there we go. Okay, that's works like that. Combiner post is up, and then we fold this up on that hinge like so. So we've got the leg sitting like so, and then we take the hand, foot, gun piece, stick the 5mm post down there, and there you have leg mode for Blast Off, all complete. And yeah, I mean it's a shuttle, it's a leg, not much to talk about. The arms stay in place, that moves, the wings move, orient, so there's room. This hinge is a little loose, I'm going to say, so he's going to have some loose toes. But for articulation, standard stuff, that ratchet there, 5mm post allows for foot rotation. Whoops, and I got to stop knocking the camera. And then this toe can bend, and that can, the heel can bend, and the toes can bend if that serves purpose for you. No ankle tilts, unfortunately. So now we're done with the leg. So let's get on to the arm mode. And I'm going to show the suggested arm mode transformation in the instructions, and then I'll tell you why I'm saying that in a bit. So we're going to untab these bits from the side. We're going to untab the back halves of the shuttle, and we're going to split that like crazy. That happened pretty fast, but it's fine. And then it's going to be hard to see because there's so much black here, but you can see there's a bit of a groove. If the camera focus, a bit of a groove there. There's going to be a tab over here that I'm going to slot it into, so that locks into place. I'm sorry it's hard to see because there's so much black, but it is there, trust me. And then do the same on the other side. I honestly, there was so much black there that I didn't realize that's what I was doing the first time I transformed this through. So we got that set up on both sides. We're gonna lock them back in place for the arm mode. Since Blast Off is typically a right arm, we'll rotate him this way. So as he's got his arms correct, we'll fold the wings up like that to be for the arm mode, and then flip that down. recommended instructions say to fold these back down, rotate at what will be the bicep to this angle, to that precise angle, and then bend the arm up at 180 degrees and tab it in. Repeat on the other side. Do that. Fold that up like so. And then we'll come here, get the hand foot gun, peg it in, make the thumb, flip out the fingers, fold that down. There you go. And you have arm mode ready to go. And now let's talk about why I'm saying recommended in transformation, because firstly, just how the arms are hanging is a bit dumb. Just how they're angled out to the side like that, not flush with anything. And I think it's because, like I said before, why I was bringing up the fact that like this was designed to be Blast Off's chest from the get-go, instead of this being the chest, which is more toy accurate. And I think show accurate. It should be show accurate. This was based off the toy. But with that, they had to flip the arms. So I'm assuming that the arm transformation would have been cleaner with these arms on the opposite side. So it's like they could fold in like this way or probably the other way or something. I'm not entirely positive, but it feels off, because what you can see is there is a tab. There is a tab right there to go into that slot right there, which if it transforms some way like that, that makes perfect sense. But it doesn't want you to do that. It wants you to do something like that, which, as you can see, there is a gap in that tabbing system. Just right there, there's a gap. So it doesn't fit like that. So, but it's not telling you to do that, because this rubs up, because this corner rubs up against the side of the body a little bit. So like that would make sense, but that also looks dumb sticking up so far to the side as well. So I don't know. Also, with this being done, and this is a little bit of a problem for the leg mode as well, but these bits bump into this, so this is not sitting like as flush as it can be with the body. So like if I were to move the arms out of the way, I could get that just so to make that a bit more flush. Oh, sorry, that's off camera. So I'll bring that back down. Do that. So that's not flush right there. Move that out of the way. That is now flush. And I can tell you that it's flush because if I try to bring the arm back down, it's now sitting on top. The arm is now sitting on top of this panel bit right here, which they're supposed to both fit in the same space, it seems. So I don't know why. Sorry. I don't know why. I'm getting frustrated about this. But it's relatively minor things. It's just, it feels like it's so close to being right, but then it's not. And I don't know. There's just minor botherances, and I don't own any previous versions of the mold, so I don't know if this is just the thing with this toy, or if it's the thing with the other two uses of the mold, or 3 uses, because this was used to make strafe in Japan as well, but heavily retooled. But so what I like to do is pull the arms up like this. Fold the arms like that. So everything can line flush, and this doesn't stick out at a weird angle, and this tabs in as it should. Sorry about that long rant about that little bit, but it's just weird and annoying, and I don't know why. But anyway, you can ratchet that. Those are... Why? There we go. Okay. The hip joints are pretty tight on this, actually. So you got 90 degrees of bend there, as well as 90 degrees of bend there. So with theoretically 180 degrees of rotation. And then the hand can rotate, finger opens and closes, thumb can move in and out like so. Yeah, the only thing I will say about having this orientation for the transformation is that does not tab in place anywhere or securely, or it holds securely. So that's a little unfortunate. But hey, that's what you got to do for this. But now, getting on to robot mode, we'll split the legs. We'll rotate this waist around, and that will lock in place. And the waist is very tight. It feels very nice compared to some of the loose waist from some other Combiner Wars figures. Put the Combiner port down, fold the arm down, fold that arm down, pull this back, flip the head back up, rotate the head, and then we're going to fold the nose cone section like that, and then there's a double hinge, and in that orientation we're going to slide this down into that position, and there's a couple of grooves right there for that to fit into when we fold that back and have these panels close up over the backpack. And there you have Blast Off in his robot mode, and his robot mode is really, really cool. It is a relatively simple looking robot. Like, there's not shuttle detail going on in the chest and the arms at all. It's like when you get, or at the thighs even, it's just like the lower legs are space shuttles and the back is space shuttle stuff, and then the rest of the body's like, oh yeah, I'm just a robot here. It's just, which I just find funny. I just like it. But it's also got very good articulation. The colors look really neat, even though it's predominantly brown and black. Somehow they make that work on this toy. So, getting a closer look, you can see his head sculpt, which features fairly toy accurate inspirations with the big eyes that are like a light pinkish purple kind of color. The black mouth plate, which is a mouth plate. There's no face plate, I should say. There's no mouth involved in there. So if you're thinking you're missing detail, you're not, which is completely fine. Nice brown helmet. You got a purple chest with details resembling the stickers that I presume were on the original Blast Off toy, but they're actually put on there. They are not stickers. A little bit of black and yellow at the bottom. It's pretty simple brown legs, pretty simple black legs with shuttle thrusters at the front. You got the wings on the sides. Oh, I did forget one step of the transformation. I am sorry. The wings fold, the tail fin folds up and around like that. That's how it's supposed to be in the instructions. Then there's no other point for that bit to be there for except for the transformation step in robot mode. But you could totally leave them like that, and I don't think anyone will complain. I'll just do that this way because that's how the instructions tell you to do it. And then the arms, pretty simple brown, bit of black at the bottom, and then that same color that is used for the eyes painted on the arm. And go around. There's a Decepticon symbol. No new Decepticon symbol. No Decepticon symbols are prominent in robot mode. They're all hidden. All 5 of the Decepticon symbols are hidden on the back or on the wings. But as for articulation, his head can rotate a full 360 degrees. If you use the hinge joint for the transformation, you can get him to look up, but then his head disconnects from his body. So that's all dependent upon you. Shoulders can rotate a full 360 degrees. Bend that far out. It is on a ball joint, so you got range of movement. Unfortunately, no like in or out movement for there. Bicep swivel, 360 degrees rotation. Elbow bend, 180 degrees of rotation. Waist, 360 degrees rotation, though it is very tight. Hips, able to bend that far forward, that far back, that far out. Thigh swivel, 360 degree rotation. Knee bend, 90 degrees. And nicest bit of articulation is there is an ankle tilt. It's maybe a little hard to see. Doesn't go too far, but boy, does it make a difference. That's Blast Off default pose, and that's Blast Off max spread with his feet still laying on the ground pose. So you get some really nice poses out of Blast Off going on here, which I very much appreciate. 2 things with robot mode. First is there's 2 ways to do the shoulders technically. So you can have the shoulders where they are, and you get full range of standard articulation, but the shoulders are a little high compared to the torso, or you can just leave them at that angle. So like the arms, the shoulders would be coming out at a reasonable place for the body, but then you do have weirder articulation at those shoulder joints. So because then that's the limitation for the outward movement unless you use that joint, and then if you leave them in that position, the rotation is still 360 degrees, but it's out to the side, which is a little weird. So like this is probably the way it should be, but I'm fine with the shoulders being up like that. It does not negatively affect it in a, it doesn't negatively affect it either way, because like, oh, you just got to move that up for the full range of movement. But I kind of like it up that way, even though that may now be like, oh, I'm just shrugging my shoulders forever now. I don't know. I kind of like that. But the other thing is the combiner port does not sit flush in robot mode. As you can see, this is sticking out. This is sticking out from where it should be hiding. And it's all because of this kibble back here. And I don't know why. It's this bottom panel, but there's something in there that is making this jut out, because if it's in this orientation, this is jutting out. If I flip this up, so I'm going to try to make sure it's on camera well clear enough that my hands are in the way that you can see that. So when I move this up, you can see that the combiner post moves back in and sits the way it should be. So I don't know why that is, but that is. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But just a quick showing off now. He can hold his weapon in his hand, his blaster hand, in his thrusters, or any of the other ports I have mentioned about on Blast Off, including his chest, which that's the weirdest one. The one is not complete. This one is not completely accessible, just because of how that works. But if you just slightly mistransform that, then you're good. But overall, including that port, you have 16 5mm ports stored on, because you got 2 there, 4 places per arm, so that brings us up to 10. You got that one on the back, which would be 11, but that's kind of inaccessible. You got the one under the foot that's slightly inaccessible in robot mode. That would be 12. And then 2 per foot, 1 on the wing and 1 on the thruster. So that's 4 more. So again, 16. So you can get some crazy stuff going on with Blast Off and all of those 5mm ports. But, also forgot to show off him holding the hand-foot gun, because it is also a very large gun. But now, let us get into some robot mode size comparisons. Here he is with Legends class Bumblebee, Deluxe class Chrome Dome, Voyager class Megatron. He'll be standing straight. Leader class 6 Shot, who is always way too tall for these things. There we go. Leader 6 Shot. The channel's mascots, Soundwave and Wheeljack, to see how he looks next to them. And of course, his Combaticons friends. Onslaught, Swindle, Brawl, Vortex, Shockwave, as well as the original Blast Off from Combiner Wars. And I'll just bring those two a little closer so you can see the differences. I'm going to be keeping the original Combiner Wars Blast Off, probably doing what I've heard some people online doing, and just renaming her Takeoff and just being Blast Off's sister, which I think is good. And if you will give me a moment. And there is the new Blast Off combined with Bruticus using his hand-foot gun piece. Like I said, silver paint is not matching with just flat gray plastic, so I may just switch that out. But overall, I think that looks really nice. I know I haven't done the Combaticons yet. I will do that when I get the chance, but that chance isn't going to be soon. So I figured you deserved to see the full combined effect. So yeah, overall, I really do like the Blast Off. I know there were a couple of rants in there about some pesky things, but like they are relatively minor things that can be worked around or just flat out ignored. It's just they're more notable problems than I have on most figures. So the more noticeable annoyances than I have on most figures when I tend to review figures. So that's kind of why those dragged on a little bit. But don't let that make you think that I think this is a bad toy. I enjoy this toy. This is the space shuttle mode's fun. The robot mode's fun. Sure, the arm mode could have been better, but it's an arm mode. It needs to some sort of gimmick. You're doing 4 things in one figure at once, but I still really enjoy it. I think 90%. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's entirely possible that most of that is brought on by the fact of these amazing ankle tilts. Just something I've forgotten can come on Deluxe class toys. It's just good. It's just fun. It feels really nice. Feels really good. I think this actually takes my favorite Combaticon mold over Swindle, because this is really nice and really accurate. And the combiner, all of the 5mm posts just have so much fun with. And Megatronus is neat too. It's just kind of like that's thrown in there. That's cool that there's like a glowing version, but I'm content that with the regular one, especially as most of them are regular colored and there's no translucent plastic involved. But hey, he's there. So again, this is an Amazon exclusive. So if it is still available, go check Amazon if you want to pick this up. But I say definitely pick it up, especially if you're a fan of the OG look of the Combaticons and have the rest of the Combaticons, and rather a space shuttle than a jet. Even though a jet technically makes more sense with the Combaticons. But hey, what are you going to do? But that is all I have to say on Blast Off and Megatronus. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Also, please consider donating on my Patreon page to help support the channel. All the links will be in the description below. Thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack signing off.